Welcome to another exciting Class 10 Mathematics Explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into one of the absolute most useful, practical chapters in your entire math syllabus, statistics and probability. If you've ever felt a little overwhelmed by a sea of numbers, don't sweat it. We're going to break it all down and make it incredibly visual. Seriously, have you ever wondered how cricket averages, weather forecasts, exam rankings, and social media analytics are calculated? Today, we are going to master statistics in the easiest and most visual way possible. By the end of this, you won't just memorize formulas, you'll actually understand how to use them. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Welcome to the data world. 2. Measures of central tendency. 3. Visualizing data with graphs. 4. Introduction to probability. 5. Exam tricks and traps. And finally, 6. Final formula revision. Okay, Section 1. Welcome to the data world. Before we do any actual math, we kind of need to know what we're working with, right? Data is simply information or facts that we collect for analysis. And that brings us to the core definition. Statistics is the branch of mathematics that deals with collecting, organizing, analyzing, and interpreting that data. It basically helps us take raw, messy information, like endless pages of cricket scores or thousands of temperature readings, and turn it into a story we can actually understand. Now, we generally encounter two main types of data out in the wild. First up is qualitative data. Think of the word quality here. This describes characteristics and is totally non-numerical. We're talking colors, names, brands. Then we have quantitative data. Think quantity. This one is numerical and measurable. So height, weight, age, or the number of students in a class. That's all quantitative. We can actually break that quantitative numerical data down even further into discrete and continuous data. This is a crucial difference. Discrete data involves strictly countable values, like the number of books on your desk. You literally can't have half a book or half a student. Continuous data, however, involves measurable values that can fall absolutely anywhere on a scale. Think about things like height or temperature. They don't just snap from one whole number to the next, they flow continuously. Section 2. Measures of central tendency. These are essentially the tools we use to find the central or typical average value of our data. Let's look at the big three: mean, median, and mode. First up, the mean. The mean is just your absolute standard average of all the values in a data set. The formula is super straightforward. Mean equals the sum of all observations divided by the number of observations. In math terms, you'll usually see this written as sigma x over n. That sigma x part, it just means add all your values together. Let's actually walk through a quick calculation. Picture this data set: 4, 8, 6, 5, and 3. Step 1, add them all up. That gives us 26. Step 2, count how many numbers we actually have. There are 5 observations here. Step 3, divide your sum by your count. So 26 divided by 5 equals 5.2. And boom, our mean is 5.2. Super simple. Okay, next is the median. If the mean is the mathematical average, the median is the literal physical middle value of your data. But listen closely, because there is a massive catch here that catches students out all the time. You can only find the true median when the data is strictly arranged in order. So step 1 is always arrange your data in ascending order, smallest to largest. Step 2, find the middle value. If you have an odd number of items, say 5 numbers, your middle value sits perfectly right in the center. But what if you have an even number of items, like 4 numbers? Then you simply take the 2 numbers in the exact middle and find their average. So if your middle numbers are 5 and 7, 5 plus 7 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Your median is 6. Easy, as long as you sort them first. The third measure is the mode, and the mode is literally just the value that appears the most frequently. If your dataset is 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, the number 2 shows up the most, so your mode is 2. Quick fun fact for you: if you had a dataset where 2 different numbers tied for the most frequent, we call that a bimodal dataset. All right, moving on to Section 3, visualizing data with graphs. Numbers on a page are fine, but data becomes infinitely easier to digest when we give it a visual shape. Our first visual tool is the trusty bar graph. Bar graphs use rectangular bars to show data, where the height shows the exact value. They are incredibly easy to read and are completely perfect for comparing discrete data categories, like looking at the different marks students got or comparing monthly sales. Now, it is so easy to confuse a bar graph with our next tool, the histogram. Here is the big difference you need to remember. Bar graphs have physical gaps between the bars because they represent those distinct, discrete categories we just talked about. Histograms, on the other hand, have bars that actually touch each other. Why? Because they are used for grouped, continuous data. If you're looking at the continuous height distribution of a whole class grouped into ranges, you absolutely need a histogram. Tool number 3 is the pie chart. These show data as slices of a circle, which makes them absolutely fantastic for visualizing percentages and proportions of a whole. Let's say we asked a class their favorite subject, and exactly 50% said math. Well, half of that entire pie chart would be one giant slice for math. You instantly see how the parts make up the whole. Section 4, Introduction to Probability. If statistics is all about looking back at what already happened, probability is about calculating the exact mathematical chance of something happening in the future. I really want you to burn this rule into your memory. The value of probability will always lie between 0 and 1. A probability of exactly 0 means an event is completely impossible. A probability of 1 means it is absolutely guaranteed to happen. Every single other possibility lives somewhere between those two numbers. And here is the master formula. Probability equals favorable outcomes divided by total outcomes. Let's ground this with a real example. Imagine rolling a standard dice and we want to know the chance of rolling a 3. What are the total outcomes? Well, it can land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So, 6 total outcomes. What's our favorable outcome? There's only one side with a 3. So, one favorable outcome divided by 6 total outcomes gives us a 1/6 probability. See? Piece of cake. Section 5, Exam Tricks and Traps. Consider this your boss battle prep. We are going to rapid fire through the most common silly mistakes students make on board exams, and exactly how you can avoid them to secure those full marks. All right, here's your cheat code. Mistake number 1, trying to find the median without arranging the data first. The trick? Always sort that data in ascending order. Mistake 2, mixing up the mean with the median. Just remember, mean is your average, median is your physical middle. Mistake 3, using the wrong type of graph. Remember, bar graphs equal discrete data with gaps. Histograms equal continuous grouped data with 0 gaps. And finally, mistake 4, getting a probability answer greater than 1. If you calculate 1.5, stop right there. Check your work because probability literally never exceeds 1. Section 6, Final Formula Revision. Let's firmly cement everything you've just learned before we wrap up. Here are your essential, must-know formulas on one screen. Mean is sigma x over n. Median is the middle value, but only after you sort it. Mode is simply the most frequent value, and probability is your favorable outcomes divided by your total outcomes. Commit these to memory, and you're gonna crush it. Guys, statistics is honestly one of the most powerful things you'll learn because it genuinely helps us decode the world around us. Keep practicing these. If this explainer helped you understand statistics easily, then like, subscribe, and share. Let's make math simple and fun together. Oh, and before you go, just take a quick look around your room. What hidden data is sitting right there, just waiting to be calculated? Think about it. See you next time.